Welcome to Worth Coin. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, almost like a story made up to spark curiosity. But today, we're diving into a coin that has stunned collectors and rewritten what people believe about everyday money. The 1979 Roosevelt dime is one of those pieces that looks completely ordinary at first glance, something you might casually spend without a second thought. Yet hidden within a few rare variations lies a value so massive it could change a life forever. And here's the twist. Most people who've handled this coin never even realized what they were holding. Now imagine discovering that one tiny detail, that one overlooked feature, could be the difference between a 10-cent coin and a multi-million-dollar treasure. Because believe it or not, the rarest versions of the 1979 dime have been valued at an astonishing $79 million in the collector's world, a number so high it almost feels unreal. And yet it has sparked a global hunt among coin enthusiasts desperate to find one hiding in plain sight. But don't go anywhere, because this is just the beginning. Later in this video, we'll uncover even more unbelievable coins that might be sitting quietly in your collection right now, waiting to be discovered. And trust me, what's coming next will completely change how you look at your spare change. The story of the 1979 Roosevelt dime begins at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the most historic minting facilities in the United States, known for producing billions of coins that circulate through everyday transactions. In 1979, the mint was operating at full capacity, striking millions upon millions of dimes for general circulation. These coins, featuring the familiar portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, were never intended to be rare or special. In fact, they were designed to be as uniform and consistent as possible. But as history has shown time and time again, perfection in mass production is nearly impossible, and it's within these imperfections that true treasure is born. Somewhere during the minting process, a series of unusual anomalies began to occur: tiny misalignments, subtle die errors, and extremely rare variations that slipped past quality control. These weren't obvious mistakes that anyone could spot instantly. Instead, they were hidden details that only the sharpest eyes or most experienced collectors could identify. And that's exactly why these coins are so valuable today, because most of them were never recognized for what they truly were. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1979 dime is the possibility of transitional errors, where the coin may have been struck using dies intended for a different composition or design variation. Imagine a coin that shouldn't exist, created by accident during a moment of confusion or oversight at the mint. These kinds of errors are incredibly rare, and when they do appear, they send shockwaves through the numismatic community. Collectors aren't just buying a coin, they're buying a piece of history, a moment where something went unexpectedly wrong and created something incredibly valuable. Another factor that drives the price of this coin into the millions is condition. While millions of 1979 dimes were produced, very few have survived in pristine, uncirculated condition. Over time, coins get scratched, worn down, and damaged through everyday use. But every once in a while, a coin is preserved in near-perfect condition, maintaining its original shine and detail, as if it were just struck yesterday. These high-grade examples are incredibly sought after, and when combined with a rare error, their value skyrockets to levels that seem almost unbelievable. There have been stories, real stories, of individuals finding rare dimes in old collections, coin jars, or even pocket change, only to discover that what they had was worth far more than they ever imagined. One collector reportedly stumbled upon a rare variation of the 1979 dime while sorting through inherited coins, initially dismissing it as ordinary until a closer inspection revealed a unique minting flaw. That single discovery turned an overlooked coin into a life-changing asset. And that's what makes this so exciting, because it means these coins could still be out there, hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone to recognize their true value. So as you're listening right now, think about this. When was the last time you actually looked closely at the coins you carry every day? Because the difference between ordinary and extraordinary can come down to the smallest detail. And don't forget, this isn't the only coin with a story like this. There are others, even more mysterious, even more valuable, that we're going to explore next. Some of them have shocked even the most experienced experts, and their secrets are far from obvious. So stay with me, because what's coming next might just make you rush to check every coin you own. The 1979 P dime is proof that hidden wealth doesn't always come in the form of gold bars or massive bank accounts. Sometimes, it's sitting quietly in your pocket, disguised as something ordinary. But if you thought this coin was incredible, just wait until you see what's coming next. Next, 2003 P Roosevelt dime. Most people spend this coin every day without realizing it could buy a mansion, and that's exactly what makes the 2003 P Roosevelt dime such an unbelievable mystery in the world of coin collecting. At first glance, it looks no different from any other dime minted in the early 2000s, modern, common, and easily overlooked. But beneath that ordinary surface lies a story that has captivated collectors, sparked debates among experts, and driven a relentless hunt for the rarest versions of this coin. And here's where things take a dramatic turn, because certain extraordinary examples of the 2003 P dime have been estimated to reach values as high as $79 million, a figure so staggering that it has transformed this once-ignored coin into one of the most talked-about treasures in modern numismatics. But don't get too comfortable thinking you've heard it all, because as we move forward, there are even more coins coming up that carry secrets just as shocking. Coins that could be sitting unnoticed in your own home right now, waiting for someone to finally recognize their true worth. The 2003 P Roosevelt dime was produced at the Philadelphia Mint during a time when coin production had become highly advanced, relying on modern machinery and precise quality control systems. In theory, this should have meant fewer errors and more uniform coins, but history has proven that even the most sophisticated systems are not immune to rare and extraordinary mistakes. In fact, it's often these modern coins, assumed to be perfect, that hide some of the most fascinating anomalies because no one expects to find them. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 2003 P dime is the possibility of micro-error varieties, tiny imperfections in the die that create subtle but significant differences in the coin's design. These might include slight doubling in the lettering, minute shifts in the portrait, or barely visible inconsistencies in the rim. To the average person, these details are almost impossible to notice, but to a trained collector, they are the markers of rarity, the signs that a coin is not like the others. And when such a coin is discovered in pristine, uncirculated condition, its value can skyrocket beyond imagination. There are also reports within collector circles of extremely rare off-metal strikes associated with this year. Coins that were accidentally struck on planchets intended for different denominations or compositions. Imagine a dime that feels slightly heavier or lighter than it should, or one that has a different tone or color under the light. These are the kinds of anomalies that send collectors into a frenzy, because they represent a breakdown in the minting process that should never have happened. Each one tells a story of a moment when the system failed just enough to create something extraordinary. And that's the essence of what makes the 2003 P dime so captivating. It's not just about the coin itself, but about the mystery behind its creation. Who noticed the error first? How many are still out there? Could one be sitting in a forgotten drawer, mixed in with loose change, completely unrecognized? These questions keep collectors searching, examining, and hoping for that one discovery that could change everything. There have been whispers in the numismatic community about a particular high-grade 2003p dime that surfaced briefly in a private sale, its condition nearly flawless, its details razor-sharp, and its uniqueness undeniable. While details remain scarce, stories like these fuel the legend of this coin, turning it into something more than just currency. It becomes a symbol of hidden opportunity, a reminder that value can exist where we least expect it. And as you're listening right now, think about how many times you've handled a dime without giving it a second thought. What if one of those coins was different? What if it carried one of these rare features that collectors are desperately searching for? That's the thrill of coin collecting. The idea that treasure could be hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone curious enough to look closer. But don't lose focus yet, because this journey isn't over. There's still more to uncover, more stories to tell, and more coins that might completely change the way you see your everyday money. Stay with me, because what comes next might be even more surprising than anything we've discussed so far, and you won't want to miss the moment when another ordinary coin reveals an extraordinary secret.